What's up, FabTV fans? I'm here with my good friends for like a long time, right?
How are you? A long time.
A long time.
I mean, we're talking like 2 decades.
2 decades?
Not just a couple of days, like 2 decades.
I
You haven't changed.
Neither of you. You look.
I tried.
You look great.
Well, it's a lot of hair color.
No, but like I hired you for this thing called Don't Be Cruel, the Elvis show, and I saw 500 people, and I'm like this. I have to pick you.
Well, you're very kind. I appreciate that.
No, you were the best.
And now we've become very dear friends. I mean, we see each other like a couple times a year.
Yeah.
And we just start chatting where we left off, with or without a microphone.
Let's get real deep. What inspired you to be you?
I think I grew up, my parents were a lot older than me. My father was 43 when he had me. My mother was in her mid-30s. And so I grew up watching Phyllis Diller, the Lawrence Welk Show, Bob Hope, all these great classic, acts that were real legends. And they weren't just stars. They were triple threats. They were funny. They were eccentric. They had a look and a brand. And there wasn't as many of them, because there wasn't the internet, there wasn't Instagram, there wasn't all that. You had to really be great. So I grew up watching all those people. So when I wanted to become an entertainer, I realized you need the whole package. You needed, you need funny or be talented, whether you be a dancer, singer, actor, whatever it is. And then also I think it's important to have a look that goes with it. It's a brand.
Right, you have a look.
I try. I'm not going to rob a bank looking like this, am I?
You can't. You know what? I'm addicted to watching your YouTube stuff.
Oh, all the cop pranks, the parking pranks. Yeah, we had a great time doing that. We still do it. We had a huge 5-year run with the cop stuff.
It's already been 5 years?
Yeah, 7 actually. But 5 years, and then things change, and now we're on doing the Snapchat and the Facebook stuff, and now we're doing some comedy specials. Now we're going back into the pranks again and that. But 5 years. 5 to 7 years of coming up with new ideas is a lot of work, as you know, like anything, and you try to be different every time. So it's a lot of work.
What's your favorite prank you've done to a cop?
Oh my goodness, that's a great. Probably my drinking prank is the one where I'm pretending to drink a champagne bottle of alcohol in public in a lane, and he busts me. And I said, I'm not really drinking. And I have the bottle in this paper bag. And he's like, look, you can't be doing it. It's just illegal. I said, well, it's Vegas. Come on, man. I said, Dad, come on, man. It's still the city. And then what I do is once that champagne bottle's inside this paper bag, I crush it. And I chuck it over my shoulder, and it's gone. And the guy's like, wait a minute, you're talking about? And so that one's probably been seen.
No, I love that one. But you've done it with beer bottles. You've done it with different
beer bottles, champagne.
And you make it. Wait.
No.
Wait. Let's get real. How does that? Can you reveal? How you do that?
It's magic. That's what it is. It's magic. That's how we do it. Yeah, I know. That's as far as we're gonna go with that magic.
Okay. What magician or comedian inspired you to be you?
There's a few of them. Obviously, growing up when I was like 7, 8 years old, I saw David Copperfield, Vanishing statue.
Wait, do you talk to David here?
I know David. Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a legend, and man, you think I work a lot. He does like sometimes up to 3 shows a day over at the MGM. He works a lot, and great guy. He's got a great museum. He's a legend. He's the top in the game. And then also the other magician that I'm really a big fan of, which a lot of people don't know of, and name's Cardini. He was a very famous magician in the 1930s, the 1950s, and he dressed very sleek in like a tuxedo with an eye monocle, with the chain, eye monocle.
Yeah, the one thing, yeah.
Top hat, and his look was always like he was walking into a very high-end hotel lobby when you're watching his act on stage, and he would pretend he was like a little bit drunk. You know how you come in about midnight or 1 in the morning after, and that was his look. And so he'd do his act kind of a little fumbling around, so he'd actually be surprised at what he'd be doing. At the same time, he'd be surprising the audience. There's a very cool act about that. So he'd even be surprised when he produced a fan of cards in his hand, not just, whereas most magicians now, here's my hand empty, I got a fan of cards. He'd be looking this way, and all of a sudden, a fan of cards would appear here, and he'd turn and bump right into it. So yeah.
Okay, this is a tough question. I always ask a lot of my celebrities that I talk to.
Yeah.
What's that one moment where it got pivotal? Like when it went from like here to there?
It's interesting. That's a great question, because I don't think my career had that moment. I think
Can I interview you real quick?
Yeah.
I get off the plane, I'm at a stoplight, and I see your face on this giant billboard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's
what I'm like.
America's Most Wanted. Is that what it says? Is that the one? Is that the one?
No,
that's not the one.
Not that one. But it's like that's my friend. And then
Yeah.
you're a big time. Come on, that's fucking huge.
Yeah, it's a cool thing.
What the hell?
It's a cool thing. Yeah. What are the chances, right? You know, pivotal. I mean, I think I have little baby steps in my career. Like there's the odd thing where somebody will hit American Idol, right, and become Carrie Underwood. You know, that American Idol is very obvious that was it. Or Kelly Clarkson, you know, where if without that they would not be who they are. Maybe they would have a different way, but
What
man,
about when
that
you
was
were in
the-
Pawn Stars?
That was great, but I got that after America's Got Talent. You know,
okay.
at America's Got Talent, 22 million people saw me on that, but I was already a magician for 15, 20 years before that happened. So I was touring on cruise ships and land. So I had little baby steps from me getting my first magic show gig as a 13-year-old birthday party, to me getting my first adult show, to me getting my first cruise ship job, seeing the world, me playing Japan. So these are big steps in a small world. But it's funny, everyone who knows me from CW's Master of Illusion or Pawn Stars or America's Got Talent, to them, that's when I became famous. To me, I was in a different place. Yes, it was nice to have that exposure, but it's funny, everyone else has their different vibe of when they first got to know me. So it's fine, because my career is, already arched over 35 years, you know what I mean?
You know, when I watched that one Pawn Star episode, and I know you for a long time, I didn't know you know all this like history of Houdini stuff.
Oh, sure, yeah, I love history. I've always have loved history. I love entertainment. The only books I really read is autobiographies. I love autobiographies. I've loved them as a kid. I've always wondered how people have made it and what they've done with it and why they've made it and stuff like that. So it makes a big difference.
When you're on stage and you're feeling the vibe from the people, do you adjust to how they're feeling, or do you use that energy to like to make it different? You get what I mean? Like sometimes there's like this big vibe, and then you adjust the comedy to it. Do you do
100%? Yeah. When you walk out, if they're not getting something, you change your. At least if you're a good act, you change what you want to sell and what you're sharing. If they're really amazing, you can go with your act normally the way it is. But if not, and you're seeing they're not getting you, you'll see me instantly. Now, you wouldn't know if you didn't know my set list, but my people who work with me know I change things very quickly. If they don't not getting the comedy, I'll do a little more magic. If they're loving the comedy, I'll push more of the comedy. So,
Okay.
yeah.
What's been your biggest comedy hit when you like come out and you everyone loves this one gag you do?
All sorts of things. I'll show something, where I'll show an empty briefcase and then produce like a 15-pound bowling ball, out of the air, and things like that. And it's funny though, for me, I like when I can make people laugh. That's my thing. But with other people, they might find something else that's amazing. That's the cool thing about watching my stuff. Everyone has their own favorite bit. Mine might not be what theirs is, So I love that because I try to be very versatile in what I do, and it's kind of fun to have everyone have a little piece that they like. They might like one thing that I do with one item, like, oh, that's funny. I don't think that's not one of my favorite bits, but it'll be somebody's that they'll talk about,
I've known you forever. I've been fat, this, that, whatever, heavy, chunky, but you've always been fit. What do you do to stay fit?
I drink coffee in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I have one meal a day and a glass of wine at night.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. But
Okay.
that's not my diet. It's just the way I like to eat. And it's funny. I get asked this more and more as I get older. I get asked this, and I share this with people. I eat to get full. I don't eat to finish.
Wow.
And that's a big difference. In America, we have this big epidemic, as you mentioned it, of eating a lot. And when we're raised, you got to finish your meal. You got to because we paid for the food. Let's finish our meal. Like you got to finish. You don't leave the table till you finish your meal. And for me, I've never had that. When I'm full, I'm full. That's it. I'm not wasting food. I'm just full. I don't want to eat anymore. And so I've always eaten to get full, not to finish. And I will not take leftovers home from a restaurant unless the leftovers are healthy. If it's dessert or French fries or crap food, I'll leave it there because that's my treat for going out. You know what I mean? But I won't bring that crap food home with me. So there's some ideas for people to try.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's my last question for you. What is the number one thing people ask Murray Sawchuck?
Probably, if they can touch my hair, something like that.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of times like that. Or I get the.
I love your
of
hair.
course.
I love your hair.
I'm glad I have it. Or if I'm gay or straight, something like that, because I'm so eccentric, But you can ask me anything, because I'm not, you know me. I'm an open book, and if I want to answer it, I'll answer it. If I don't know, So.
Wait. I can keep going. Fuck. Instagram or YouTube? What do you like better?
I love Instagram because I can instantly post right now, but I love YouTube because that you can go down a rabbit hole, and YouTube is like our CNN of the new world. You know what I mean? In the sense of not CNN now. I know this week's been a big thing for CNN, but what I mean by that is YouTube's got some. YouTube you want to watch long form. You can watch an hour show on YouTube, but on Instagram you want to see short things. 30 seconds things, 15-second things. Things.
How's your TikTok?
Great. I think we got about 800,000 followers on there. And
Wait, everybody, my YouTube fans, my all my fans, like, I thought I was doing good, and then Marie, like you rocketed.
Yeah, we got lucky with some stuff. It wasn't just me though. My social media producer Seth Leach, which if you read anything about my stuff, he's always included. Him and I partner up on, because he comes up with the ideas and the hook to take off, and then he also and I come up with the ideas of the magic. So he goes, let's do this with the cop. How do we do it? And I go, well, this is how we do it. So he goes, we're going to do this. Now figure it out. So I'll figure out a trick to go with his idea, and that's how we make it come viral. So.
Okay, wait. Lastly, I like 4 lastly things. I love how mellow and cool you are when like, hey, don't park there. It's a cool, and then you screw them over because they parked in a bad spot, and like,
yes.
And it's a cool. But how do you say cool?
I think you just think before you talk.
Okay.
And I always hear myself before I hear myself, if that makes any sense. So, and even that goes for even if I'm upset or happy or sad, before I say something, I hear myself say it first. And then I go, oh, maybe I shouldn't say that. I think it's a comedian's thing, because to make something funny, you got to run it in your head quickly first before you send it out there. So when I'm working with an audience, which you'll see tonight, there's my regular material, but then I'll hear something, and all of a sudden, there'll be something funny out of the audience, and I'll say it quickly in my head to make sure I'm not offending anybody, that it's actually going to be really funny and that they're going to accept it, So that's kind of how I work my magic, And I listen. I do more listening than talking, and I think that's a good advice for a lot of people out there. So.
I love talking to you. You're so smart. Fuck. Okay, Marie Sawchuck, here at the Look Star. He's also at Tropicana, but Tropicana's going to get knocked down.
Well, they say it is, but we haven't heard anything yet. There's a lot of press on that. But if they knock a hotel down this town, it takes a couple of years. And don't forget, they have a lot of land. So you can see my show at Tropicana for this next year at the Laugh Factory, and I'm also here in the show Fantasy at the Luxor, which is like the #1 burlesque review show in Las Vegas. So come check it out, and I'm so glad you're going to see the show tonight.
Dude, I love talking to you.
I love you, man.
You're one of my favorites.
Well, you're my favorite as well. Let's go on a date.
Okay, let's go inside. Have